Hi there. Good morning once again. In this video, I'm going to talk about twin flames. I'm going to talk about who are twin flames, what are twin flames, am I a twin flame, is that my twin flame, what are we, what are we supposed to do, what is the purpose of twin flames, why are so many twin flames incarnating right now, what are we supposed to be doing? What's going to happen in the next couple of months as twin flames? And why is it so difficult, the connection with my twin flame? Why do I feel traumatized by my twin flame? What's going on there? How we can heal that and more. Okay? So to start off with, if you're watching this video, I really recommend that you watch my first Science and Spirituality, the Connecting and Explaining of the Event video. It'll interlock with this video. I will put a link under this link about it, or this video, about a link to that video. Sorry. Okay, twin flames. Who are twin flames? Not everybody is a twin flame. Some of us are twin flames, some of us are not. Some of us are living in the unconscious matrix and we have a twin flame. Some of us are on our spiritual path or are living out for full purpose, and we may or may not have a twin flame. Some of us have decided to incarnate in this life and we have a twin flame, but our twin flame is not incarnating in this timeline. Okay? So who are twin flames? Twin flames are two sides of the same coin. They are the feminine and the masculine, the feminine and the masculine aspect of a soul. So you could see it as the masculine and the feminine together. They perfectly match or complete each other. They're whole without each other. They're perfectly whole and can perfectly function without each other. But together, they are a whole soul in higher dimensions, not in the third dimension. In the third dimension, we are physically two different physical beings, but in higher dimensions, we are actually one being or one soul, a collective, if you will, that are one, okay? We're not separate. So you'll see that in a twin flame dynamic that our twin flame has the same understanding, the same kind of soul understanding concepts as we are. So we have a lot of similarities. We can easily express ourselves, engage, and felt understood without even saying any words, because it all, like I mentioned in the video that I mentioned, it all goes down to frequency, right? And the frequency range of these two elements, the masculine and the feminine of parts of a twin flame dynamic or a couple, vibrate at a very similar frequency, but we are polar opposites at the same time. So we will notice that we are very different and we have different abilities and understanding, strength and weaknesses. Just like what I mentioned in the other video about science and spirituality. Science and spirituality, feminine and masculine, we have certain things we're better at and qualities that we are better or not as good at. And those gaps, when we put each other together, when we merge the feminine and the masculine together, or when we are merged with our twin flame, we kind of perfectly interlock and complement each other in all the gaps that we have on our own. We are so full on our own. We are perfectly fine and full on our own. But together, we can have a fuller picture, fuller understanding, and thrive and go beyond what we could achieve just on our own. Okay, so that brings me to the Trinity, you're going to see this nearly in every video. We have the masculine and the feminine, okay? And this is our counterpart, so our twin soul counterpart. One will be more masculine, one more feminine. It doesn't matter what your physical vehicle is. You could be either or. They could switch at times, these elements, depending on your growth and how you are doing. And once we do fully engage in this dance and balancing with our twin flame, with the feminine and the masculine, we'll be able to transcend and achieve more than we could ever imagine. So I want to talk about this a little bit more. So what is a twin flame? Two sides of a coin, right? Two different halves of the whole soul. But in fact, we are portals, if you will. We are vessels. We are channels of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. We are, or just the masculine and feminine elements of the universe. So we are the channels or portholes of electro and magnetic, right? Negative and positive, black and white, feminine and masculine, whichever words you want to use of the yin and the yang. Okay, so as we are two beings over here in the third dimension, we are two separate beings. In the higher dimensions, we are one being. Yes, and we are portals because in the one being, in the higher dimensions, we are connected to our higher selves, or if you will, the divine feminine and the divine masculine, to whichever way you relate to it, to universe, to source, to spirit, to Christos, whatever language you use around it. But we are portals of that divine element, and it can move through twin flames. It is not conscious. It is not always consciously moving through us, this energy. We're not always being channels. When we are engaging in being that channel, that entity, that energy frequency is able to pass through us, if you are a twin flame. So what does this mean when twin flames come together? You may have noticed, if you're a twin flame, that when you're with your twin flame, everything stops. Time stops, everything stops, and there's just this moment, that present moment, that person, and what is. Why is that? What's going on? Well, that is you mixing your energies, right, in our beautiful infinite rotation or movement. And when these energies are dancing together or mixing together, we create the still point, creation point, 0 point, as they say in physics. From that 0 point, we are creating something together. So when time stops and everything, there is just this present moment with your couple, your polarity. That is what is happening. You're entering the creation point, the still point. And this is when we may naturally create with our partner. It may be through acts of sex. It may be through creating on a spiritual level, a mind level, physical level. On different levels, we're able to manifest and create more than we could if we were just separate. Yes? So a lot of twin flames who are unconscious of being twin flames, they can have amazing experiences. Just like maybe you're engaging in sex and suddenly you realize you're engaging in sacred sex without even knowing what sacred sex is, but you naturally go into it because you've done that in many timelines before. And what happens then is you can perceive different things. For example, when I was connecting in sacred sex with my twin flame, I would jump timelines and perceive different timelines where we existed, and we would engage in certain different sacred acts without consciously even knowing that we were unlocking those things. When we first meet our twin flame, a lot of us are unaware of who this is and what is happening, but all these amazing connections that we've never felt before in our life is happening, and we're kind of blown away. So when we're unconscious about it, we're usually only being aware of the physical and mental, conscious and unconscious reality of it. Now, when we bring our spirit and like intention, once we know, wow, this is our twin flame, and wow, imagine if we could do all of these things that we do naturally, and we go into these different trances or states or meditative states, different abilities naturally. Imagine what you could do when you're doing that fully aware with full intention, right? It's a very powerful union. So right now, at this moment in time, in this particular time, during this shift, during this event, in this cycle that we are in, a lot of twin flames are incarnating all over the planet. Why? Because twin flame unions are the key to our ascension. This has never happened before, or at least not in this cycle that we're going through, that so many twin flames are coming together and are finding each other. Now, you may ask yourself, am I a twin flame? I would recommend you ask yourself, if you don't already know or haven't already found your flame, ask in meditation, ask your higher self, ask the beings that are working with you. If you're not yet connected to that, you may want to find different mediums where you can get that affirmation for people who do have that connection, and then still find your own truth within that. Yes. Be aware the partner you are with, who you may think is a twin flame, might not be a twin flame. So ask, find your truth, find your knowing. Yes. So the reason why so many of us are incarnating right now is not for this humanoid level, okay? It's not about, hey, we are vessels of the divine, feminine and masculine, and we are part of the same soul and all of this stuff, and, we have been separated for lifetimes or timelines because you were both experiencing different experiences, different timelines, so that when you come together as a full soul, you will have experienced more, right? All of this wasn't happening so that you could incarnate here and play housewife and husband and, just buy a house and have some kids and live happily ever after. Okay, that's not what's happening here. This is not why you've met in this lifetime. So get that Disney world painting picture out of your mind. This is not about the humanoid story of love and marriage and the baby carriage. This is not what we're doing. This has a way more divine intervention. This is more of a divine level. What we are dealing with is not the humanoid level, it's one level up, which I refer to as the celestial level. So, why are we coming together? Because at this moment in time, we've talked about this, is the third dimension is harmonizing with the fourth dimension, so we may ascend to the fifth dimension. This is the point, the 0 point as we call it in physics, creation point. This is where we can manifest and co-create. What does this have to do with the masculine and feminine? Well, we are replicas of each of these. And this 0 point is what is created when a union happens between the masculine and feminine. Okay, we can create this 0 point where we can ascend. So when twin flames come together, they emit a certain frequency. They are putting out a certain frequency in the world. Now imagine when many different twin flames around the world are emitting that frequency. It's this 0 point creation frequency, that the frequency of the heart. I'll explain a little bit more about that in a minute, that we are emitting. This is the frequency of the ascension process we're going in. So as all these twin flames are coming together, are merging, and thus creating this frequency, this energy that is felt by the collective unconscious, and that is helping us push forward that frequency. It is, let's say, there are all antennas all around the world, just fully emitting the frequency that we are trying to ascend to. So twin flame unions are super important for the whole ascension process, for this whole shift. The energy that we are creating through our union is helping raise the vibration of the planet, of the collective unconscious, and of our fellow man. It's an amazing, beautiful thing. Now, some of you might be thinking right now, but when I'm together with my flame, difficult stuff happens, it was hell, I've been traumatized, I've been hurt, and all of these things. Well, I'll tell you, the connection of the twin flame is the most difficult connection you will ever have in your life. It will be the most hurt you've ever been, most heartbroken you've ever been. Why? Why is that happening? You and your twin flame are only meeting to do very important work, right? So when the first time or the times that you do meet, you are going through great transformation, great lessons. You are mirroring each other. You are mirroring each other's shadows. And as you are being mirroring each other's shadows in a very short period of time, it'll be like an explosion of, fireworks, flowers, and hearts, and at the same time of all the shadow, the yuck, the darkness, the negativity will all come out in a whirlwind of energetic chaos. But you have chosen to do this. You've chosen to do this. You've chosen to meet with your twin. Because when we are coming together, we are jumping leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds. We're changing and raising our awareness, our consciousness, and healing ourselves. Healing the masculine and the feminine within, and within our polar opposite, and thus in the world. Now, I mentioned before that we are vessels of the, of the divine feminine and the masculine. We're vessels of what this represents in higher dimensions, the electromagnetic, yin, yang, white and black, right? So when we are coming together as a twin flame couple, what we are healing within us in our dynamic, we are not only healing within us, we are healing that for thousands of other people around the planet and the collective consciousness. Yes, that big. So as you are healing, your daddy issues or your expectations or attachment issues, you're not only healing that for you and your partner, you're healing that for thousands of others who are not twin flames. You are healing that for the planet, for our ascension, and you are emitting a certain frequency, raising that frequency so that the rest of us in the third dimension can start to follow that, right? We're paving the path for others to know where the road is. And it is going to be hard, it's going to be difficult, it's going to be testing, it's going to drive you absolutely nuts, and it is part of the work. And you have chosen for this. No, you have chosen this. Okay. What else do we want to mention? Yes. So a lot of us have been separated now from our twin. You will always find in the twin dynamic one person is more spiritual, if you will, or more connected than the other. It doesn't matter if, you know, one twin has studied for 20 years in spiritualism and the other, you know, a day or 2 years. It's nothing got to do with that. It's got to do with what they've done in a soul level, and it's got to do with where they're at this moment in time in their timeline, and if they're ready to accept their full purpose and who they are fully. So one will be a little bit further than the other. This can be frustrating for the person who's further than the other, because we're dealing with someone we're trying to pull on board. So it's a lot of understanding, love, and compassion, and the fine-tuning of that constantly. I know, because I'm speaking out of experience. Okay. So a lot of us have been separated. We will have met our twin flame, you know, all this beautifulness, and then darkness happened, and then we basically broke off or quickly ran away to the hills, to our caves, and are not in contact or in physical space with our twin flame, which is perfect, and this is how it happens, and this is what happens to all of us. So what happened was we learned a bunch of lessons really quickly, you know. We separated. It was so difficult, absolutely heartbroken. Our heart was teared out, our soul was teared out, but the time apart was very essential and important, because it was all part of a lesson that we understand that we are whole in ourselves. We can only heal ourselves. We can only be fully whole, and as we take that journey within and do our own work, our counterpart will also be doing that and going through those realizations, even if you don't think so. And as we become more whole and full, we are healing ourselves, and thus our dynamic, thus our counterpart on the other side of the world, wherever she or he may be. Now, there's going to be a moment in time that's really important, and you have to just get over it. We're going to have to get into an uncomfortable situation and reunite with your twin flame. And some of you may say, no, I never want to see him again. I don't want to do that. The one who is in a higher vibration of consciousness, it is up to you to work from your higher self, to work from a higher perspective, a more global consciousness, that this is not just about you and him and her, it is about a bigger picture. And get back into contact when you are both ready, when it feels right, and when you feel directed to, with your twin flame. Sit through the uncomfortableness, reopen that wound and start to heal it through connecting physically, speaking, talking about the past, releasing, and just sharing your heart. It's going to be really difficult. So all of that anger and pain, we can bring that to the table. We have to share from the heart. Okay, the person who's more conscious and trying to connect with our twin flame, it's not going to be like, oh, I'm going to, connect one time and it'll all be perfect and dandy and daisy. It is going to take strength, and you're going to have to really test yourself and keep going at it and keep going at it. You're going to want to run away and say, what the heck am I doing? And then you're going to have to take a breath and know that this is bigger than just you and your story, and you're going to go, put your armor in and just go for it. Sit through that uncomfortableness, do the crying, do the pain, explain your anger in a beautiful, open and harmonious way, and heal that aspect of you and your twin. When you're healing that of yourselves, you're healing that on a planetary level. Once you have moved through that stage of healing your humanoid story to your twin flame, it is time, it will be time, you will feel magnetically pulled after that, again, to reunite with your twin flame. Why? Because we are meant to go into a sacred union with our twin flame to help with the ascension process. So before I talk a little bit more about that, I want to mention that, let me just get that information, 1 second. Yes, so we want to connect with our twin flame in sacred union. We will be magnetically pulled. It'll be obvious the time for this. Now, in this upcoming period, twin flames all around the globe are magnetically being pulled together, okay? There are different waves of twin flames in the planet. There are different collectives and groups of twin flames that are connected on higher dimensions, that are haven't found their partner yet, have already found their partner, are going through the first phase of meeting them, are going through the separation, reuniting, and there are some who have already done all of this and are ready for the next phase, which is this sacred union with your twin flame. This is happening right now in the beginning of September. Groups of twin flames around the planet are coming together, whether they're conscious or unconscious of it. It doesn't matter. It's going to be happening end of September, and it's going to be happening during the month of October. A lot is going to be happening during this period. This is where this video and my last video about science spirituality are working up for, because I have received dates and very important information for this next upcoming period that is very essential for us to know and be aware of. Many things are going to be changing within us, out of us, and in the world stage. Okay? So, let's have a look. Alright, so some of us are ready to go into sacred union in the month of beginning September and September, October. This is very important. I will talk about this more in the next video. So you may feel that you've been in contact or attracted to. Some of us aren't this far yet. The different groups of twin flames will be coming together at the end of the year, next year, etc., etc. But what is so important about us coming into union in masses around the world is we're going to be emitting this certain frequency. And why? I will speak about that exactly why in the next video, but it is very, very crucial. And what we will see as the next stage is that around end of October, we will see groups of twin flames, different couples of twin flames actually coming together in one place and time, which is another level of this union. And I will talk about that in the next video as well, more in detail. So, what's important to know about this is that sacred union with our twin flame doesn't per se mean that we are going to have sex. Some of you may be pulled to engage in sex or sacred sex, but it is an energetical thing that is happening. It can happen physically through sex. It doesn't have to at all. Not at all. But it is a harmonizing of the energy. It is a connecting of the energy. You will be pulled to connect to your twin flame. It is doing a lot in many different dimensions. Some of you will start working together. Even if you're not physically together, you'll be working together from other sides of the planet, doing your work, which is connected, which is interlinked. A lot of us twin flames are not meant to be together. We're not meant to be a couple. We're meant to be constantly in contact, but have different lives. Some of us may have different lovers, and this connection goes beyond the humanoid story. And everyone has their unique relationship. Some of you may be, connected and will do the whole family, house, etc. thing, but there is still a higher purpose happening in the background. So a lot of us, if we are connected already to our twin flame, we will see in this period, this last period and this period to come, that our connection with our twin flame is becoming really strong. We can, our telepathy with them has become strong. We can feel them all the time. We can feel what they're feeling or what they're seeing or perceiving. We can be sharing information, downloading information from each other. We can know how the other one is feeling. All of these things are opening up. Yes. What are the traits of twin flames? How do you really know if it is or is not your twin flame? I will put a couple of links of different people who talk about those characteristics. Maybe if I feel moved to and people are interested, I will talk about that in a different video. I don't find it important for right now, this second. Yes, I think this will conclude this video. My next video is going to bring both of these concepts and information together with some very important information that I am sharing with you about events that are happening, the shifts that are happening, and certain dates to be aware of. Yes. So thank you for tuning in, and again, have a lovely and amazing day. Shine bright.